Good evening, everyone, and welcome. As always, a video of this meeting is being streamed live on YouTube and will also be available on Facebook and the Village website. I appreciate the trustees joining us tonight, our department heads. A lot of members of our fire department are here, and we are appreciative of that. And of course, many people in the audience, thank you for coming out. We have an exciting meeting ahead of us and some great things to accomplish. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask Clerk Saladino to call the roll.
Trustee Augustine.
Here.
Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee McGee.
Here.
Trustee O'Brien.
Here.
Trustee Peterson.
Here.
Trustee Thompson.
Here.
President Kugler.
Here. Thank you. And with that, we have a quorum. I'd also like to invite Peggy Masterson up to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Peggy is here to support her girlfriend, who's Elisa Jerzyk, who's going to be sworn in as a police officer later on in the meeting. So with that, please rise.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the
which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, Peggy. The fine people at St. Francis Xavier School will be proud that you can still say the pledge. It's all good. With that, we might as well start with two of the great things, and that would be swearing in two police officers. I often say that one of the best parts of this job is to being able to recognize and welcome new additions to our village. And tonight we have two very special additions, and I know Clerk Saladino feels the same when he gets to swear them in. First up will be Police Officer Alyssa Jersick. Alyssa is joined by her grandparents, Donald and Darlene Jersick, also by Peggy Masterson, who you've already met, and Peggy's parents, Mary Kay and Mike Masterson's, my old friends. Peggy graduated 8th grade with my son, Kevin, and she survived that, so all good. And we thank the Mastersons for telling Alyssa what a great village Grange is, and so we're very happy that you took their advice and decided to come. Both officers that are being sworn in today are lateral hires. It's a relatively new thing for our department, but obviously a great thing. We get police officers with some experience. Alyssa worked as a police officer in Wheeling after completing the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy at the College of DuPage in 2021. She also holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in criminal justice from Michigan State University. So please, at this time, Clerk Saladino will do the honors.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Alyssa Jersick,
I, Alyssa Jersick,
having been appointed
have been appointed
to the office of police officer
to the office of police officer
in the village of LaGrange,
in the village of LaGrange,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of police officer
the duties of the office of police officer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And to the Jersicks and Mastersons, we do as a board want to tell you how much we appreciate Alyssa joining our force. We also know it's tough when your loved one is a first responder. They put themselves in danger every day, day in and day out, and we know that takes a toll on all the family members. We also know that due to the scheduling, they miss holidays, birthdays, other important events because, again, they put their job before everyone else, and that's appreciated. And so for your sacrifices, thank you very much. And next, we have another officer joining us, and again, a lateral. We have Greg Cargy and his wife, Allison, and Greg is actually a graduate of the best university in the world. I assume he's talked to Chief Bluter about taking off the last week of March and the beginning of April. This men's basketball team in the upcoming season is expected to not only be in the Final Four, but win the national championship. So hopefully that's all been taken care of. Other than that, let me read a little bit about Officer Cargie's background. On June 21, 2023, the LaGrange Board of Fire and Police Commissioners appointed Greg Cargie to the position of probationary police officer to fill an open vacancy. Greg, as I said, has a bachelor's degree in criminology and law studies from Marquette University and has been employed as a police officer for the Sandwich Police Department since 2014. Greg attended the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy at the College of DuPage in Glen Ellen, graduating in 2013. Greg will be starting the first phase of his field training next week and will be working with a specially trained police officer with the LaGrange Police Department. And Alyssa is doing the same training program. So staff is pleased to present Greg Carney to the Village Board, and Clerk Saladino is there to swear you in.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Greg Cargie,
I, Greg Cargie,
having been appointed to the office of police officer
having been appointed to the office of police officer
in the village of LaGrange,
in the village of LaGrange,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of police officer
the duties of the office of police officer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Allison, I know you know the sacrifices that I was mentioning before, since Greg's been an officer for quite some time. But we do really appreciate the sacrifices that you're making and that you've made and continue to make. And you're truly part of the family, and thank you for that. So thank you to both of you. One more round of applause. To provide a update on the quarry litigation, as you know, a little over a month ago, we were successful with our litigation against the quarry. The judge found unanimously in our favor and ruled that we could hook into what was our 54-inch pipe, and we are planning to do so. We've engaged engineers to start the process of studying how best to implement the flood mitigation so that we can get as much water out of the village as possible. The attorneys for Hanson Quarry has filed both a notice of appeal and a motion for stay. The notice of appeal is asking that the appellate court take jurisdiction of the proceedings. The motion to stay is asking the trial court to rule that the village should not be able to begin construction till the completion of the appeal. The village has filed a motion for sanctions. The motion for sanctions alleges that the quarry did not file their lawsuit against us in good faith and did not tender documents that they should have, or when they should have. All three of those, the two motions will be heard by the trial judge in the end of July. The appeal will not take place until after the trial court is done ruling on the motions. We will, as a village, continue to engage with our engineers, again, with the idea that to design the best system to impact and move as much water out of the village, therefore saving properties. So that's the goal. Those plans are far from finalized, and again, the idea will be that improvements will be made south of 47th. Again, we do know that we had rain over the July 4th holiday. This past Wednesday, we experienced a significant storm event that resulted in an accumulation of 1.37 inches of rainfall in a very short period of time. You know, whether it was 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it was a short period of time, and a whole lot of rain came down. Some areas, the drainage was impeded by storm grates that were clogged with tree leaves that fell due to the drought condition in the prior weeks. We did send out, and I thank Public Works for their hard effort, trying to clean the catch basins before the storm. Again, the way the leaves were falling, the tree debris were falling, you can clean it up, and right behind you, there's going to be additional leaves and things. Again, so the village conducted daily street sweeping to remove the leaves. It's simply not possible to keep up with the full amount of leaves that fell. Standing surface water, overland flow, and basement flooding was reported to have occurred. And again, we understand the frustration. I know Trustee McGee had it both at the church and at her house. It's difficult. It's frustrating when your property is ruined due to these events. It is absolutely why flooding remains a top priority for this board. The impacts are regrettable. The village remains committed to addressing these impacts in a responsible manner that provides the greatest amount of relief for the residents that are most significantly impacted by these storms. We'll continue to work on it. We will go into closed session after tonight's meeting to talk in more detail about those motions and appeal. And again, it's a priority for this board. On a happier note, Craft Fair. Mark your calendars for the 48th annual LaGrange Craft Fair, which will liven up downtown LaGrange with dozens, even more, of vendors from throughout the Midwest. Named amongst the top 200 craft shows in the country, this popular summer event will offer a broad range of handmade wares, from original paintings to handmade clothing, jewelry, soaps, and various accessories. Please visit the LGBA website at lgba.com for more information. And I know Kathy Domenico will talk a little bit about the craft fair and Endless Summerfest. Can't believe it. You know, July 4th, a lot of people think it's the halfway point of summer. When you start talking about Endless Summerfest, you know school can't be too far in the future. Later on tonight's agenda, the village board will be voting on a special event request for Endless Summer planned for Friday, August 4th through Sunday, August 6th. The annual event is organized by the LaGrange Park District and the LGBA in collaboration with the village. It's always held at Gordon Park, and it promises to be a weekend full of family fun. You can find more details at lagrangefest.com. Meeting schedule has been our normal course. We canceled the last meeting in July and the first meeting in August. Therefore, the next board meeting will not be until, or the next scheduled one, will not be until August 28th. We do wish everyone a good rest of July and beginning of August. The village staff will be working tirelessly, and the village board will be continuing to monitor all necessary matters, even when we're not meeting. And with that, I would ask Manager Knight if there's a manager's report.
There is. Thank you, President Kukler, and good evening, everybody. First off, I'd like to welcome our new officers who were just sworn in. We look forward to working with them. We have construction on Brainerd continues with the water main from Burlington to Maple having recently been completed. The main is undergoing pressure testing, chlorination, and testing to ensure drinking water quality standards are met. Intermittent closures to through traffic on Brainerd during working hours will take place to accommodate ongoing work. Service transfers begin this week, which typically involve a short interruption to water service. Homeowners who have not yet signed an agreement for service line replacement or waiver are now presumed to be foregoing participation in the program. The Illinois Department of Public Health waiver required by law will be provided to these homeowners for signature. The village's contractor, Suburban General, will provide these homes with a 6-month supply of Brita water filters, as lead concentrations in drinking water can increase for some time after the service line is disrupted. Lastly, the village is seeking qualified individuals for the position of general utility worker. This is an important position within the Department of Public Works. It serves to support many of the services that are provided to residents, including maintenance, repair, and construction of streets, water and sewer systems, facilities, and forestry. Qualified individuals are encouraged to visit the village's website. President Kluger, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Village Manager Knight. And with that, I would ask Clerk Saladino to read the items on tonight's consent agenda, followed by the items on the current business.
Matters on the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they already have been considered fully by the board at a previous meeting or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. Item A, a resolution waiving bidding and authorizing the village manager to approve a purchase of a 2023 Ford Police Interceptor from Sutton Ford. Item B, a resolution approving closed session minutes, determining the need to keep minutes of certain closed meetings of the village board confidential, and authorizing the destruction of verbatim recordings of certain closed meetings of the village board. Item C, minutes of the Village of Grange Board of Trustees regular meeting, Monday, June 26, 2023. Item D, consolidated voucher 230710. And under current business, this agenda item includes consideration of matters being presented to the Board of Trustees for action. Item A, a resolution waiving bidding and approving an amendment to an agreement with Andy Frayne Services, Inc. for the extension of a crossing guard services agreement. Item B, special event 2023 Endless Summerfest.
Thank you, Clerk Saladino. At this time, I would ask if there's anyone in the audience that has comments on matters that are on tonight's agenda. That's not on tonight's agenda. We'll have that after we talk about the items on tonight's agenda. Then we'll make sure that you come up and talk, okay? Thank you. Seeing none.
I think there's one.
Oh, Kathy, please come on up. I'm not sure if your microphone's on. Milo's going to probably help you, maybe?
There you go. I think it's
Perfect.
okay. I wanted to give a brief report on Endless Summer and just let everybody know that the planning of the event is going along well. We have our proposed marketing plan completed. The bands are in place. We have the carnival and marketplace moving along beautifully, and we have many sponsors. We are also looking for safer, more economical, and environmentally friendly alternatives to the fireworks. And we received a proposal from Laser Encore, and they are proposing a laser light show that would be set to music for 20 minutes. We feel this could be a good, safer alternative to the fireworks, and we're currently in the process of investigating that. I also wanted to remind everyone to come to the craft fair this weekend. We are expecting 175 vendors to present their wares. And again, we are in our 49th year, so this is a very popular event, and we're anticipating up near 15,000 people to attend. We have created a VIP card for consumers that will be left on every tent at the craft fair, and we are offering special discounts to particular retailers and also restaurants. So anybody who picks up a card will get a special discount. So thank you for your time. Let me know if you have any questions.
And thank you, Kathy. We appreciate you coming out to speak about both of those events. 175 vendors. It's an awesome amount. And I know it's always a great weekend for LaGrange. We get visitors from all over coming. So thank you. We do appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
out. And with that, I would entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Thank you, Trustee Gale and Trustee Peterson. Any trustee comments?
President Kukler, thank you. As previously stated, I recuse myself for any agenda items related to the village prosecutor. I'm voting on any agenda items related to the village prosecutor.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Seeing no other comments, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
And that motion passes unanimously. Moving on to current business, we have two items. Under item A is a resolution waiving the bidding and approving an amendment to an agreement with Andy Fran Services for extension of a crossing guard service agreement. I'd like to invite Trustee O'Brien to provide an overview of this item.
Thank you, President Kukler. In August of 2018, the village entered into an agreement with Andy Frame Services Incorporated out of Aurora, Illinois, to provide school crossing guard services. An extension to the original agreement was executed in 2020 and has since expired. The agreement with Andy Frame Services Incorporated requires staffing to include a sufficient number of crossing guards and field supervisors as designated by the village to cover 4 schools and 11 crossings. Additionally, the vendor has to manage all duties and responsibilities involved in directing traffic to allow school children to cross streets safely. Staff solicited a proposal from Andy Frame Services Incorporated to extend the agreement and was provided the following pricing for a 3-year extension. Fiscal year 2023-2024, Andy Frame proposal $23.29 per hour, annually of $140,578. Fiscal year 2024-2025, Andy Frame proposal $23.99 per hour, annually $144,804. Fiscal year 2025-2026, $24.71 per hour, annually $149,150. The proposed rates represent an average 3.1% increase per year for the 3 years of the extension, which is considered reasonable by the staff. No further changes to the terms of the agreement have been proposed. The total cost of the contract over the 3-year period of the extension is approximately $434,534. Staff recommends a resolution waiving bidding and approving an amendment to the agreement with Andy Frame Services for the extension of the crossing guard services agreement. I move to approve this.
Thank you, Trustee O'Brien. And a second?
Second.
Second.
And I heard Trustee McGee second that. Any discussion regarding today's motion? Seeing none, I would ask Clerk Saladino for a roll call vote.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. We thank Andy Fran for their hard work. It's obviously not easy to staff positions, and they do a good job making sure that our school children are safely crossed. So thank them for their hard work, and I know they work well with our police department. Next up is, again, the special event for 2023 Endless Summer Fest. And for that, I would ask Trustee McGee to provide an overview of this item.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Park District of Grange has submitted a letter stating that their intent to hold, in conjunction with the LaGrange Business Association, the 2023 LaGrange Endless Summer Fest. This event is scheduled for Friday, August the 4th, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday, August the 5th, from 12 noon to 11 p.m., and Sunday, August 6th, from 12 noon to 10:30 p.m. The event will include carnival rides, foods, drinks, and live entertainment. Again, the event proposes the location to be primarily in Gordon Park. The event organizers are seeking village approval to use Locust Avenue right-of-way and municipal lot number 14 for event operations. Street and parking lot closures will begin at 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday, August the 2nd. Event parking will be provided within the event site, with overflow parking being located in Shawmut Industrial Park. Fireworks will not be included this year. As it has been stated earlier, organizers are evaluating alternative ways to conclude the festivities on Sunday evening. The Park District is also seeking village authorization to sell beer and wine during the event hours. To approve the request, approval to close Locust Avenue's right-of-way and parking lot number 14, waiving restrictions for outdoor display and sale of goods and carnival rides as temporary use is required. Separate approval by the Liquor Commissions is needed for the Park District to sell alcohol during the special event. Additional restrictions are deemed appropriate may be imposed. Staff recommends approval of the requested accommodations with the following conditions. The Park District and the LaGrange Business Association will collaborate with village staff to provide for adequate site security measures, pedestrian access and vehicular circulation to and from the event. That all overtime costs incurred by the village will be reimbursed by the Park District of LaGrange and/or the LaGrange Business Association. That the Park District of LaGrange and/or the LaGrange Business Association and the carnival operator provide the necessary insurance coverage and hold harmless agreements, and that adjacent property owners will be notified of the event in writing at least 2 weeks prior to the event.
And would you move?
I move that the approval of this request and accommodations be granted.
Thank you, Trustee McGee. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Thompson. With that, any discussion? Trustee Augustine.
Yes, thanks. Not so much. Technical difficulties. There we go. I just wanted to thank Kathy and the LGBA. I had heard that you were discussing whether or not to do fireworks this year, and I think in light of our air quality conditions, dryness of the region, although not last week, the cost, the noise, I like the route you're taking, and I think some of these sky shows are absolutely amazing and might be a fresh take. So thanks for pursuing that, and see how it goes.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. And seeing no other comments, I would ask Clerk Saladino for a roll call vote.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. We do encourage everybody to come out for some true old school fun at the carnival. That's great. Now, moving on, are there any public comments regarding matters not on tonight's agenda?
Good evening, Board. I'm Sarah Gall. I live on the 100 block of Sunset.
and just wanted to sort of revisit the conversation on the flooding. I was thinking back to when I started coming to village meetings, which was the beginning of September in 2022, so for nearly a year, and I had such a strong sense of deja vu as sort of we got that update on, or non-update on anything that we've done on the flooding matters. And so I understand that we got a lot of rain on Wednesday, but that is becoming a normal occurrence. I mean, an inch in 30 minutes, we should be able to manage that. And I understand that there have been additional leaves. It's the middle of summer. What are we gonna do when the fall comes? We have to be able to do something with this. I mean, when our entire block gets so nervous whenever there's a drop of rain. I mean, it is truly untenable living conditions. And I don't understand where my property taxes are going, if not to allow our block to be a place that we can enjoy and live and not worry about the threat of water completely destroying our property. So I continue to implore the board to identify what we can do, what is within our control, because it will continue to rain. And I don't come to the board meetings for a weather report. It's going to rain. So let's figure out what we can do to help the residents of this wonderful community with these flooding issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gall.
There won't be a microphone level that works for Mike and I, but we'll do our best. I'm Laura West on 140 Sunset. Mike and I are here together tonight to echo what Sarah said and echo what we have been saying for about 18 months at these meetings, that this is a serious problem, and there's a lot of things outside of our control. We're still talking about the lawsuit. Now there's a lot of things up in the air. We can't be on hold as a village for goodness knows how long, appeals and whatnot and courtroom and all that. We saw how long that took the first time. We're really proud that we had a good result, but it's going to be another tough go. There are a lot of people with constant struggle. Like Sarah said, it rains. We don't enjoy a cozy thunderstorm at home with our families. I was actually playing categories with my kids on Wednesday night when I, in an emergency, had to go out because the corner within 15 minutes was not just in the street. If there was flooding in the street, I would not be here. I would say, that's great, it is in the street. This is over my parkway, over my sidewalk, and now it is no longer just rainwater. Our corner has been the lucky recipient to be chosen as the sewage outlet, which was not always the case for, I'm not sure what grade of an area. So now sewage is bubbling like a geyser, adding to all of the rainwater that gathers up. And I think everybody who came over and saw with your own eyes what happens when it rains. This is not unusual. It's a frequent occurrence for us, and we are ravaged now with rainwater, sewage water almost touching our house. We just get lucky sometimes that it stops raining. Simply get lucky. I now have seen a flurry of activity at LT North with the fields, and anyone I ask, they are measuring to do the turf project. They are moving quickly. Is the village talking to LT with our engineers, with MWRD, to figure out, is this an opportunity for us? Or on the defensive side, to stop something from happening that is only going to ravage us more. We need help. I would say we're at capacity, but we are way over capacity, and we have been for decades. We've been patient. I don't know what else we can do. We need some relief and help.
Well put, Laura. The point is, we can't do it alone. We need the village. We need your help. And if we don't have your help, our house is lost. Our garage will go down. It's been flooded 4 or 5 times, up to 3 or 4 feet. The garage will come down. It is over 100 feet away from the corner. Trustee Saladino, Trustee O'Brien were both kind enough to come out to our house, and they saw it with their own eyes. Trustee O'Brien saw the end of it. City Clerk Saladino helped me put everything at the top of our garage, because once it gets flooded, everything gets covered in sewage and floats away, and all of our kids' toys get ruined. So thank you for that. But this is untenable. We need help, and the village is the only entity who can do it. And you are the directors of the village. It's up to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. West. We appreciate you coming out.
Well, I guess my name is John Pluto. I'm in the 700 block of East Avenue. And back to talk about this new flood system that we're going to have. This thing started July 24, 2010 with the first survey that you guys put out. And you had an engineering firm come in and make all the recommendations, what's wrong and how we can fix it. Consequently, Laura is right. We've gotten caught in the court system, and we can't get anything accomplished. We've, from 2010 to 13 to 2021, we've done about 5 studies on different aspects of every time we get a big rain, we get a new study. That ain't fixing it. What we've got to do is we have a list of variables that we can work with, and I'm not sure if we're going to get the variable that we want. We're not going to get what we think we're going to shoot into that quarry. I'm sorry, everything that I read, it's a little sketchy. Let's be realistic about it. What we have to do is make a system that's going to work with what we've got. We've got a limited capacity that we can take out of here, because I got pictures of East Avenue flooded all the way back almost to 49th Street. And that's our main sewer route out of town. If it ain't for that 54-inch sewer that's going into the quarry, and that's not even part of our regular system. That was the old system before they put the curbs and gutters through in 2000. So I don't know how much water is going out there. It would be great if we could shoot everything we could out there. That might save some of our problems. But the variables we got to deal with the Metropolitan Sanitary District on how much we can put into that tunnel. We can't even put anything into the tunnel because they don't have the tunnel complete with the reservoir system, and that won't be till 2029. I don't think these people can wait till 2029. We have to find out a way to make the system work with what we've got. The capacity's out. You know, we need some community input here, because not only are they the people that suffer, there's a lot of people. We need to get a grassroots effort where everybody that's got problems comes and talks and says what's going on. It's great these guys can do everything out of a textbook, but it doesn't solve the problems. And my contention is we know what the solution to the problem is. We're gonna put 3 reservoirs in and go down 48th Street, and we could possibly make it work with a slow release back into the McCook ditch. It's possible, but everybody's got a big secret about it. We need to be transparent here, and we're not. Everybody is very close-lipped up there about what's going on. There's going to be something happening in Sedgwick. There's going to be something happening in Wyola, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the park over on Willow Springs Road that is LT's field is going to be part of the solution too. But nobody's allowing any community input on this, and that's kind of a bad situation for everybody out here. let's see what else I got to talk about. If we're going to do things in the park, I think it's a great idea. I'm 100% behind you. But let's talk about it. What's going to be benefit for every part of the community? I have another item.
Thanks, John. Okay, so John, you want the board to look at this picture of our pumping station?
Okay, when you look at that photo, you can see a white line across it, okay? And I sent that picture to my son, and he just said, just some cracks, those things have super thick walls. And my response to him was, nevertheless, it's a deteriorating condition, constant volume changes, full early morning, peak time levels drop, possible 10-foot, hot sun expanding the dome roof, pushing against the walls, a sharp blast from the quarry at 2:15, and we have an accordion effect going on. Put Mother Nature in there with winter and a little frost, and it can move big things. I think the governor should be called, at the very least, and ask for a reduction of the blasting that they do at that quarry. And I'm sure our tanks get inspected, but look at that crack. It doesn't look good to me, and I'm not an engineer. The other thing is, environmentally, they push a lot of dust out of that quarry, and when the prevailing winds come our way, we got a lot of silica dust, and silica dust is a carcinogen. Why aren't we onto a proactive system where we can have our air monitored and make sure that you can keep the picture if you like it.
Well, we can if you'd like us to, but we're familiar with it.
Oh, okay. And that's okay?
Well, again, why don't you complete your comments, and I will say a few words when everybody's done.
Okay. It doesn't look good because the effervescence means there's a crack in that tank when it seeps out, when the salts come back out of the concrete. So I don't know if you have somebody to come in and professionally assess the situation and maybe address the quarry on it. Don't know. But I have another item. The next one's a doozy. I was looking at the Park District and their excavations for their parking lot. You guys familiar with that?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
They're putting a new parking lot in? Okay, do you know that we have a piece of property in our town that is actually an environmental hazard? Is anybody aware of that up there? I can't ask questions like that, I'm sorry. But I can show you a big picture from maybe 1950, and there was a gas manufacturing plant at the corner of East Avenue and 47th Street. And we're not sure that it was ever remediated. And there was legislation that was passed in 1993 and 2008 with the gas company, ComEd, doing remediation on these sites. And those sites, one of them was Berry Park in Oak Park. They excavated the whole city block and put a big tent over it when they did it. Now, I'm sure you people have been notified by somebody on this, and they had went out there and supposedly done core samples. Well, you know what? It's kind of funny because I went on the internet and I found Champaign had the same type of problem there with a manufactured gas plant. And, you know, the outfit that did that, they sent out how did they say it? Before they started the project, they sent out a memo to everybody about what was going on. And we don't know what's going on, and we don't know what's happened. We don't know how much toxic stuff there is in that ground. I'm sure that the EPA has come out and checked on it. I'm sure they got the seal of approval, but I think that the village could be a little more proactive in letting everybody know what site is in our village. And I have some information that I can drop with you regarding the legislation with the Nicar gas and the state. So I would like the village to be upfront with that, and all the knowledge that they have on that site, I think it should be made public. Now, if that's something that I have to FOIA, or if all the citizens in this town have to FOIA it, I don't know the answer. And nobody out there can ever give me an answer from the village. So.
All right, we're happy to look at the materials you have.
Okay. I can give you that.
Okay.
It lists like 26 sites in the Illinois area, and we're number 12. It was called the Grange Gas Company. And I have a large aerial photo that puts that right at the corner there. So I've got two things that collaborate what was there.
Yeah, I'm not disputing what was there. I don't know what was there, to be honest, me personally.
Well, everybody puts that where they're putting the parking lot as a gas meter plant. What was there before the gas meter plant? It was something that was toxic. And I don't even know, the building inspector said it was a 2.9 acre site. I'm not so sure. We need the plot of that whole thing to see exactly what could be damaged out there and what is toxic. It could go all the way back where the power station was on Cosset and the railroad tracks, because Nicor and the electric company worked hand in hand. They buried stuff like crazy back then. And it's just like, I'm surprised that the state hasn't contacted you on something like that it could be a possibility. But Nicor went out and remediated that site. They dug some dirt out of there and did some things. So they knew they had a problem, but everybody kind of ducks back and says, don't make a big deal of it and we can get rid of it. It's got to be done properly.
Thank you, Mr. Pluto.
You're welcome. And I'll give you all the stuff that you need.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do you want these things back? Okay. Tricks. Okay. Okay, terrific. Do you need any of this back? All right, thank you, Mr. Pluto.
Hi, I'm Becky.
Good evening.
That's okay. I'm Becky Lorenzen from Community Diversity Group, and the time has come. We've been talking about the Community Mosaic Project, and we're now at a point where we're going to be having tile laying sessions, which will be end of August, August 22nd through 30th, several evenings from 4 to 7, 1-hour sessions, and September 9th, the day before the Unity Rally. And we are ready for you to sign up for your spot. So I'll be sending the new flyer over to the village to pass around, and we look forward to many people from the village coming out with your families, police department, fire department. If anyone under 18 does have to be accompanied by an adult can accompany up to 3 people. and the kids have to be fourth grade and older. That's because they're going to show us how to cut tiles, and just for the safety of everybody, we want to make sure there's adequate supervision. So we've been talking to Paul about possibly including Helping Hand. We would like to have as diverse of people coming out, opportunity to meet people you normally wouldn't meet. So we look forward to your signing up. And this is the last board meeting before our session starts. So look forward to your participation. And thank you for your support.
Thank you, Becky. And I would encourage you also to reach out to Center for Independence and Countryside. They have a great program with a lot of individuals that are older than fourth grade too.
Village President, trustees, staff, thank you for having me here tonight. I'm Catherine Paget. I live at 137 North Kensington Avenue, but I'm also the president of the LaGrange Area Historical Society on the corner of 47th and LaGrange Road. So for all of the viewers out there that wonder, where is the Historical Society? It's on the corner at 444 South LaGrange Road. I'm here to let you know that not only are you going to have a great weekend purchasing things at the craft show, but you have an opportunity to go get free ice cream at our ice cream social on Sunday. So after you're shopping and you feel you need a little treat, come on down from 1 to 3. It's a family-oriented event. We'll have games and some prizes and just some general fun. 1 to 3, Sunday, July 16th. Additionally, we have our second in the 3 series concerts that we're having, free concerts in our, we call it the Museum Park. It's on July 28th, Friday night. It starts at 6:30. Stop, and we encourage you to stop and shop locally for your dinner, get some takeout, bring it out to our concert, picnic in the park. You can bring your chair and just listen to some great music. Both events offer you the opportunity to come into the house and see our summer exhibit called Once Upon a Childhood. If you have kids, bring them in. If you don't, you'll be a kid again when you go in. Please come and enjoy us. Think local when you want to have some fun.
Thank you very much, Ms. Paget. So again, July 16th, 1 to 3 is the ice cream social at the Historical Society, and July 28th, Friday night, will be the concert in the Historical Society's park. So all residents are encouraged to come out and take that in. Anything further from the audience? All right. Very briefly, to really just address a couple of things that Mr. Pluto said. First, that building that's on East Avenue is the pumping station. It doesn't, and if necessary, Director Colby, feel free to correct me. It doesn't actually contain water like the water tower that's near LaGrange.
I'm talking about the water tank.
No, again, that picture that you showed, I believe, is on East Avenue, east of East Avenue, right? No, the small picture, the concrete.
That is our water reservoir where our water comes in from McCoy.
Right.
It goes into the 2 buildings that are there.
Okay, Mr. Pluto, thank you. And I can tell you, and Director Colby can correct me if I'm wrong, that is our pumping station. Inside there are several pumps that operate and pump our water. It in itself doesn't hold water like a water tower does, like we have over at Gordon Park.
It's 1.75 million gallons.
Okay. I guess Director Colby can correct me on how.
Absolutely, yeah, to clarify, yeah, the water reservoir does hold water. It's like, it holds water, and then we pump from there to our elevated storage. It's
Okay.
the same pipe in the tower.
Okay. And maybe you can look at this picture then and see if there's anything to be concerned about.
No, and we do have a planned, scheduled inspection for the reservoir and the standpipe for later this year.
Is, you know how the water levels drop at peak time. It's hot. Concrete expands, that domed roof. It's submerged into the dirt. Those walls go in and out. There is a crack that's forming there, and the effervescence from the white that's coming out says that it's a crack there. Because I even put in that little pile of stuff the definition of effervescence in concrete, okay? So there is some type of problem beginning there. What is going to happen is this quarry blasting is causing part of an early malfunction of our tank. Our tank was put up in 1983. It's 40 years old. It should last a lot longer than that, but you don't live over there, so you don't know what kind of blast goes on. It's like a bomb, and it goes for about 15 or 20 seconds. And anybody here can testify. And anybody in that quadrant, if they don't have 4 cracks in their foundation wall, they're lying, you know? So this is something that we need to be concerned about as a village, because if we lose that pumping station in that reservoir, where are we going to get our water from? We're going to get it from Western Springs through a fire hydrant, you know? We have to be concerned about that. And like I said, the blasting levels should be dropped.
Mr. Pluto, I do have to cut you off, okay? Director Colby, you understand what his concerns
Yeah, we
are?
very clearly understand what you're asking us to look at. We'll take a look at it. We do have budgeted for later this year for a formal inspection and any repair of any issues. We have lots of things for that we look at all the time. Yeah, so.
Okay, again, we appreciate you bringing it to our attention. As Director Colby said, it's scheduled to be reviewed, investigated by professionals.
You know, I kind of get mixed feelings from you. You're happy to have people come and say nice things, but when people say things that you don't like, you want to shove them out of here. Okay?
Mr. Pluto, if you would like to talk longer, you have to stand up and go to the microphone, and then I'll allow you to talk as absolutely long as you want. But there's people at home, they can't hear you because you're not by the microphone.
I never realized that. I should have done that.
That's fine, but again, I'm not trying to rush you out. I'm not only asking for people that have kind things to say. It's one of the nice things about being a small village. You can come and say your piece, and we definitely will take what you have to say to heart.
Mark, I might not have a college education that tells me that I'm an engineer, but I got a practical sense. I went to the school of hard knocks, okay? I know what a water reservoir is for. And I'm telling you that it could be dangerous to this community if we lose that water reservoir.
I agree.
And if we can't get some mediation with the quarry on the dust that they put out of there, it's killing us.
I agree that the quarry dust is hazardous and it's unfortunate. I don't know that the village can do much to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If they had somebody with a smokestack putting out dirty smoke, nobody thinks about limestone dust. It's a carcinogen. It's just as bad for your lungs as asbestosis.
Thank you. And again, what I was going to say on your second point is the village does encourage all homeowners that have suffered flood damage to report that to the Department of Public Works. We do have a report form. We do want to know which properties are suffering damages. That does get fed to our engineers and will be considered when they're making their plans. So thank you. At this time, I would open it up for any trustee comments. I do want to say that we will be going into closed session, and we will not be coming back to here. So if there's any trustees that have anything to comment on, that would be the time. Trustee Augustine.
Here we go. Thank you, President Buchler, and to those who came today to share their thoughts and insight. It's always helpful for us. To wish we could do a little bit more, and maybe it's some kind of town hall meeting where we workshop again some of the things that we're talking about in regards to flooding. It's hard to hear that the thought is that maybe we're keeping things from the residents. We are residents, and it certainly doesn't feel like what we're trying to do, but if that's how some people feel, then we can do a better job maybe of trying to get that information out there. I'm I have a big problem with the quarry, Mr. Paluto. I think we talked about that a little bit last time. I talk about that in these meetings quite a bit. I've gotten involved with the Facebook group. They've not only been a problem for us regarding flooding, they're still blasting. It's worse than before. There's speeding trucks running through the neighborhoods, dangerous as heck. And of course, the particulate dust kicked up from the silica that comes from the limestone that they mine is dangerous. So as I've said before, and I'll say again, keep on calling. The phone number is 866-934-3278. Let the quarry know what you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you think you're breathing in, and ask them to get back to you. At the very least, it gets registered that we've done so. There's more we have to do on that, and hopefully a lot more villages can get involved. I know a group of residents are involved in pursuing some attention on the matter as well soon. Also, there's the Facebook Lyons Township Quarry Information Underground Blasting McCook Quarry. That's the long name of the Facebook group that if you feel the blasts or have issues with the trucks or have issues with the dust, you should join. Usually we get all three. The next thing I wanted to mention with my trustee comments is just a reminder about our really amazing LaGrange Forward Comprehensive Plan. We have an online tool. We're in phase 2, which is community vision. Phase 1 was assessing community conditions. Phase 2 is this really beautiful tool online where you can go and add your comments, as you do here tonight, about anything you want to see the village do, change, be like in the future. There's no end to what you can post, and it's a great way for us at the board level and the staff to know what folks are interested in seeing us do. To kind of explain it, because a lot of times I'm talking to people and they don't quite know what it is. Kind of in a nutshell, it the results of this will be processed, and it'll ensure that the input from residents will serve as guides for future decision-making, and conveying through a shared community vision. It's a long-range policy for future decision-making related to land use, development, and conservation. So every one of us can provide ideas here that'll affect the outcome. And it'll turn into a statement of value. It will put vision into action and shape policy, and that informs the board and helps us figure out what we should do in regards to what you're most interested in. I haven't put all of my thoughts down in there yet, but I will be doing so. And it's big and little stuff. Obviously, flooding is number one. Parking is an ongoing issue, both in dense retail and residential areas. A lot of people are talking about dog parks, pools, more traffic stops. There's a boutique hotel that has been discussed, a need for equalizing the railroad area so that the crossings are fair. The IHB railroad is, as I've mentioned before, not doing a great job. So people have hot button issues and people have small issues. We'll take them all. Two big issues I did want to mention, just in hopes of making others think about what kind of things we can put here into this tool, into this comprehensive plan. And by the way, it's lagrangeforward.org. There's a section of LaGrange Road between 47th and Plainfield. It cuts right through LaGrange. This part of LaGrange is completely cut off, one side to the other. The nearest stoplight crosswalk is at 47th in LaGrange, and then you go about 8 blocks before you get to another one, which is nearly a mile to Plainfield before you get another crosswalk. So all those kids and adults who might want to cross over and go to parks or go to school have to walk to a minimum of 4 blocks to a safe crossing area. And to put it in perspective, in countryside, you go no more than 2 or 3 blocks with a lit crosswalk. North of 47, you go no more than 4 blocks with a crosswalk. Same thing in LaGrange Road. So IDOT obviously doesn't want to put anything else in there to slow it down, but I really think that this area needs it. The residents are interested, and every time we ask, IDOT says no. I think that would greatly benefit LaGrange, and that's the kind of thing that this plan is looking for, that kind of input. I also feel strongly about continuing to see our restaurants thrive in our downtown area. A lot of these restaurants survive these days on the margins provided by making a good cocktail, serving great wine, selling some craft beer. But for a long, long time, and for good reason at the time, LaGrange has had a 60-40 rule, which means no more than 40% of your revenue can come from alcohol sales. And that's prohibitively difficult for some of our businesses. I think it's already happening that our restaurants are close to this ratio, which will be difficult for them. We want to continue to be able to attract restaurants, so we want to maybe take a look at this ratio. The difference is people go out not just for a meal, they go out just to have a couple of cocktails and be entertained, and that's what's changing the ratio. It's very different than 30, 40 years ago when we put this into place, so I'm hoping this board will take a look at that seriously for the benefit of our very strong restaurant-focused downtown business. I think that is something that's a low-hanging fruit, no-brainer thing for us to do that will be attractive to future businesses. So once again, think about what you like about LaGrange, put that down. Think about what you think we need to do in LaGrange, general thoughts, big ideas. Go to lagrangeforward.org. I think we only have 2 more weeks, Charity, where that's active. Sorry.
No, the website will remain active, and you can continue to submit comments and thoughts throughout the entirety of the project life. We are in this summertime period in July and August, really in the heart of our outreach efforts as it relates to community vision. So broad goals and objectives for, as Trustee Augustine said, what you love about LaGrange, what you hope will stay the same into the future, what you hope will change in the future. So that's really where we are at this stage of the process. But people will be able to continue to submit ideas and information into the project as it continues on. Also, if you submit your email address and sign up for updates, you can stay informed throughout the project as the plan recommendations are developed.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Trustee Thompson.
So good evening, folks. I thought it'd be a good chance to just recap some things. We talked about flooding tonight, and you guys know where I came from. I came from Drive LaGrange, so let's just talk about flooding in the village of LaGrange. This board meeting tonight is 2 weeks past the 2-year anniversary of the last major flood we had in LaGrange. It's also 2 months and 3 years past the other big flood we had. Wednesday night and Sunday night could have been the next big flood we had, but we were lucky. Berwyn and Cicero unfortunately took the blunt of that hit. The May 2020 storm was 1.75 inches of rain in 1 hour during a 4.23 total rainfall event, rated by NOAA a 4-year storm. June 21st, 1.13 inches of rain fell in 1 hour, with 0.83 inches falling in just 15 minutes. This came during a 3.6-inch rain event, which NOAA rated a 2-year storm. Last Wednesday night, the village received 1.5 inches of rain in 30 minutes, for a total rain event of 1.7 to 1.3 inches of total rain, and then it stopped. This was not a rateable storm by NOAA standards. It was just another storm. The 1,000-year flood is no longer a thing NOAA even talks about when they talk to groups like that. Also to note, all these floods are coming in the summertime now. It is not a spring event that we have. These are summer floods that take our village out. Unfortunately, some homes had sewer backups last Wednesday and Sunday. Some of them had water seep into the basement. Some churches flooded through the basements. For most of those homes, there are solutions for those that can be done by the homeowner. Put in the sewer backup, put in a relief valve, reseal your basement. There is still grant money available from the village this year to fix your sewers. So if you want to get that storm back up, there's still several grants that have been applied for. Please get that money. Some streets were underwater for a brief period of time Wednesday, except for East Avenue possibly. On Sunday, every road was passable for emergency vehicles. If you remember in the flood of 2021, no street was passable in town. In fact, the hospital was on total reroute, except for the village of LaGrange. Ambulances couldn't get to it. It was a very dire situation. Why bring all this up? 3 rain events that show that our sewers can only absorb so much water. Our sewer system was built 100 years ago. Great guys engineered it, but we have a combined sewer system, not a separate stormwater and sewer system. We have small pipes laid low into the ground. Drive LaGrange was started 2 years ago by angry citizens coming to this meeting, and we were really angry at the village. Unfortunately, not all of our anger was properly aimed at the village. And I would like to recap who we should really be angry at and why we need the support of everyone in this village to get this done. Number one, the quarry did destroy our sewer pipe that we could have restarted moving water through. They've now filed a motion to block. We won in court. They filed a motion to overturn that decision. They've also filed a motion to stop us from starting on it. Some people have asked me, why don't you just rehook up to that pipe? What people need to understand is that pipe no longer exists. That's just part of the open air quarry system. They've dug all that land out, so we can no longer hook up to that pipe. Number two, MWRD has replaced restrictors on our sewers for the entrances to the deep tunnel. We can only put in what water we can put into the deep tunnel, and they will not remove those until the McCook water reservoir is finished. One thing you should notice, the McCook water reservoir is now 10 years behind schedule, won't be completed until 2029, and MWRD is operating under a federal consent decree by the US EPA, either get it done or else. Whatever that else will be is they are a major holdup in us solving our flooding. Also, MWRD has been slow to give money to the western suburbs. Here, all the western suburbs, Frank Aguilar, all the state people are trying to get money for the western suburbs because MWRD intentionally does not give money to the west. Maybe this flood in Berwyn and Cicero will bring enough anger that they will bring some money to the west, but we have not traditionally got money from them. MWRD has also considered the flooding in LaGrange a local issue. We have brought to them and shown that the flooding that occurs in LaGrange is caused by water coming from LaGrange Highlands, Countryside, and Western Springs. Still a local issue is what they call it. I do not believe that MWRD will allow us will support Mars or ORS being completed until the McCook Reservoir is finished either. So building the Mars project or building the ORS project is going to be hard to do when MWRD says no, because if they say no, there's nothing a village can do to do about it. The last culprit, we all need to remember who the bad guy is, the Country Club. The Country Club has refused to work with this village for the last several years. We have asked repeatedly to help us build a berm along Brainerd to correct an error made by an IDOT engineer when the roadway was lowered. That road should have never been lowered. It was a mistake by the engineer. And under Illinois law, water and roadway law never do harm. They did harm by lowering that roadway. But the Country Club refuses to work with us. And the saddest thing is, the section of Country Club that floods is a section of LaGrange better known as the Country Club section of LaGrange, where their residents, their members, and their caddies all live. Very unfair to the residents that live there because the Country Club just doesn't care about them. As Drive LaGrange did our research and talked to experts and engineers, Drive LaGrange did come to agree with the village on two things, and I think it's important we recap those. We must have somewhere for the water to go. If we can't get somewhere for the water to go, we can't do anything with it. So either it goes into the deep tunnel, it goes into the quarry, or it goes into reservoirs, either under parks, parking lots, schools, playgrounds, wherever we can dig a basin to put it under. Those require a lot of studies and a lot of work, and those studies are ongoing, and we're working on them right now with, but again, they require the coordination with MWRD, our city staff, and Illinois, IDOT, everybody has to be involved in that. They're also very expensive. Second, we all agreed, and we did not like to agree to it, but that, as Laura West said, our streets will always be part of our flood program. There is no way we can ever rebuild or fix our system that our streets will not act as part of our sewer program. Water will back up, and these heavy rainstorms, just think about it, water can only get through a sewer grate so fast if it's falling at that rate. I sat down and talked to an MWRD engineer about green intersections. Green intersections are great. They will not absorb a 1.5 inch of 15-minute or 30-minute rainstorm. It will still flood because you're trying to filter water through sand, through bricks, and it just won't work. They're not designed to solve flooding issues like that. So we need to realize, and I know it's not popular, but our streets will always be part of our flood control. And the reason for that is our sewer system is old. We do not have a separate storm sewer system. If we had a separate storm sewer system, perhaps we could build that. But if we wanted to put one into the village, think about it. Every road would have to be dug up. Every storm sewer would have to be rerouted so that the sanitary sewer were separated from the current sewer, a newer sewer put in. Every road in this village would be destroyed. Every driveway would be destroyed. The cost of that project would be in the hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. And it would take many, many years to construct. It's impossible for a village with a budget of $46 million a year, 16,000 residents, and 5,700 homes to ever come up with a plan to do that on our own. We have to work with the courts. We have to work with MWRD. We have to work on the intergovernmental agency agreement to get this done. It's not popular, trust me. I don't like it. That's why I'm sitting here. I got on this board so that we could push this. We are pushing it. We're working with staff to get this done. It is not a fast process. So one thing we can ask is just please everyone understand that we all want to solve this issue, but this is a very difficult issue to solve, and it's going to take a lot of time to get done. And just pray that we never end up being Berwyn or Cicero or the state of New York or the state of Vermont, because these new storms that are coming now are way beyond the control of anything we've ever seen and way beyond any storm system that we will ever build to manage our sewer system regardless of that. So I just thought it was a good time to recap that and go over it, and we'll continue to work. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Thompson. It did remind me that I didn't mean to mention something during my president's report, and that is within 1 hour of the heavy rainfall, State Representative Abel Nasser Rashid, State Senator Mike Porfirio, and well as Cook County Commissioner Frank Aguilar were calling me on my cell phone asking if there was anything that LaGrange needed, offering their services, wanted me to tell the residents that they are working on our behalf. Representative Rashid, Senator Porfirio down in Springfield, trying to get state money for us. Cook County Commissioner Frank Aguilar trying to work with Cook County President Preckwinkle to get funding out to our area. So we do appreciate their efforts, and we do look forward to continuing to work with them. With that being said, at this time, it's the intention of the village board to meet in closed session under Section 2C11 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act. The village board will not reconvene to open session as no formal action will occur during the closed session. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
A motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine and Trustee McGee. And Clerk Saladino, can you call a roll call, please?
Trustee Thompson.
Aye.
Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
And that motion carries. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of the summer.